Hey everyone, welcome back. Okay, today we're tearing down a massive misconception that honestly might be quietly draining your business of its true potential right now. We're diving into this explainer from Finance Made Simple, specifically looking at the strategic divide between bookkeeping and accounting. We're going to break down exactly what these roles do and, why confusing them is just incredibly dangerous. So, are you falling into this costly business trap? I know it sounds a little dramatic, right? But using the terms bookkeeping and accounting interchangeably, it's a dangerous mistake that literally ruins growing businesses. It's really not just a matter of semantics. It's about fundamentally misunderstanding what your business needs to survive day to day versus, well, what it needs to actually thrive in the long term. Because confusing these two financial roles, that's going to cost you money, time, and potentially your entire enterprise if you just leave it unchecked. Which brings us to Section 1, the costly business trap. Let's introduce you to Sam. So, meet Sam. Picture a classic stickman entrepreneur sitting at his desk, just entirely buried in chaotic, unorganized stacks of paper. He's a successful guy, he's making sales, building a great product, but he's completely drowning in a sea of his own success. Why? Because he lacks foundational data organization. Every single receipt in those stacks is a hidden stressor, and every invoice is just a nightmare waiting to happen. Basically, Sam is stuck in the mud. Sure, his business might be generating revenue, but without a clear system to track it, all that revenue is just leaking out through inefficiencies, lost vendor payments, and unrecorded expenses. So how do we fix this? That brings us to Section 2, bookkeeping, recording the data. To solve Sam's total paper chaos, we really have to look at the daily operational grind. This means taking that mess and sorting everything into clear, definitive buckets. Think big arrows pointing to invoices, receipts, and daily transactions, all boxed up nicely. A bookkeeper is that operational professional who gets right down into the weeds to process that data entry. They organize those invoices and keep daily records meticulously categorized. I mean, they are the absolute foundation of your business finance. Because without this clean, highly structured operational data, everything else in your business is literally just guesswork. Bookkeepers create order and reality out of pure paper chaos. They're the ones who make absolutely sure you know exactly how much cash is in the bank on any given Tuesday. Now, the crucial difference here is scope. Bookkeeping handles the daily operational grunt work, keeping records organized. Accounting, on the other hand, well, that shifts the focus to the broad, strategic vision you actually need for growth. Look at it this way. You cannot forecast the future if you don't even know what you spent on printer paper yesterday, right? The bookkeeper handles the now, securing the ground floor so your business doesn't just collapse on itself. They deal in absolute facts and historical data. But to grow, you need to look up. You have to take those facts and decide what on earth to do with them. And that's exactly what we cover in Section 3, accounting, using the data. An accountant is really your strategic partner. They're the ones who take that beautifully organized operational data from the bookkeeper and transform it into actionable business insights. And okay, this is a very, very important distinction to grasp. The accountant only steps in after the bookkeeper's foundational work is entirely finished. If you have bad bookkeeping, you are going to have bad accounting. It's the classic case of garbage in, garbage out. An accountant isn't there to sort out your shoebox of crumpled receipts. They're there to tell you what that shoebox actually means for your tax bracket and say your hiring capabilities for next year. When the accountant steps in, it's like they're putting a giant magnifying glass over your entire business. Imagine them looking at this massive, holographic-style financial chart trending upwards. They focus on the big picture stuff, tax planning, financial analysis, future forecasting. They use your past data to literally draw the trend lines for your future. They tell you where your business is going and how to optimize your cash flow so you don't end up hitting a wall. Can you afford to open a second location? Are you overpaying on quarterly taxes? Should you completely shift your product pricing? The accountant answers these questions by turning raw data into a competitive strategy. They are your absolute financial navigator. Let's bring this all together in Section 4, Bridging the Financial Divide. Okay, here is the absolute core memory trick for this explainer. Bookkeeping records the data. Accounting uses the data. Picture a huge bridge linking two sides, bookkeeping on the left, accounting on the right. Now put a giant crossed-out equal sign right in the middle of that bridge. They are intimately connected, sure, but they are absolutely not the same thing. They rely on each other, yet they require entirely different skill sets. You literally cannot hire a bookkeeper to do complex tax strategy because that puts you at massive compliance risk.
And conversely, you definitely shouldn't be paying an accountant's premium hourly rate just to enter daily receipts. I mean, that is a terrible waste of your capital. Understanding this crucial divide is exactly how you stop burning cash and perfectly align your financial resources.
If you want to master this balance in your own business, you really need the right tools in your toolkit. Head over to financemadesimpleblog.blogspot.com right now for step-by-step tools, templates, and some amazing free resources. Diving into these practical assets is honestly the fastest way to get your operations and your strategy perfectly aligned, so you don't end up totally buried in paperwork like our friend Sam. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Do you currently have the right financial partner for your specific growth stage? Think about Sam's messy desk versus an upward trending financial forecast. Before you make your very next hire, honestly assess your business needs. Are you drowning in daily data, or are you kind of flying blind without a future strategy? Knowing exactly who to call really changes everything. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep structuring your success, and I'll see you next time.